This movie story is about a dangerous prison built right in the middle of the ocean. This prison had a very strange rule. All prisoners were strictly forbidden from wearing shoes. But in contrast, every prison guard wore thick, heat-resistant boots. What was even stranger was that none of the guards carried any weapons. When the prisoners were confused about this, one guard took out a remote control from his belt. He pressed a button lightly, and the very next moment, a powerful electric shock rose from the floor and spread throughout the entire room. The shock wasn't deadly, but it was so painful that no one dared to stand up again. Because of this system, only 50 guards were enough to control a prison of nearly 5,000 inmates. And this was just the lowest level. After a warning from the team leader, the newly arrived prisoners were taken to wear the special prison uniform. From outside, the place looked like a prison, but in reality, it was a massive factory. Many people had been brought there on false charges and were forced to work 10 hours of brutal labor every day. Each workshop had a supervisor who monitored the prisoners' every move. Guards only appeared when a new prisoner arrived, otherwise they were never seen. But they didn't worry about anyone trying to escape, because if someone did, they would simply activate the floor's electric system, and within a second the prisoner would fall unconscious. To boost production, every week all the workshops in the prison were ranked. The workshop that scored first received rewards, and the rest were punished with electric shocks. This is why all prisoners worked non-stop, without wasting even a single second. The supervisor explained to the new guy, "You have to learn the entire production process within 1 hour." At the end of the day, they returned to their tiny rooms. Each room was smaller than 3 square meters, like a sleeping pod. All essential items hung on the wall. Their 3 meals were delivered through a pipe. They could eat as much as they wanted, but the taste was so terrible it was beyond description. If someone wanted good food, there was only one way: rank first in the weekly evaluation. Each prisoner's sentence was displayed on a screen, which decreased slowly every day to give them a sliver of hope. But something strange happened last month. All prison sentences were suddenly doubled. Everyone's sentence was increased without exception. All the prisoners were discussing it. Why did they do this? But the moment the discussion began, the supervisor silenced them with a strict warning: if the guards hear about this, the consequences will be terrible. Just then, an announcement echoed through the prison: it is now time to turn off the lights and go to sleep. Within 30 seconds, every prisoner had to be in bed. If they delayed, the white floor lights would turn red and a strong current would strike them instantly. For this reason, even though there were no prison doors, no one dared to escape. The next morning, the red lights turned white again, and the prisoners walked toward the workshop. This prison had a total of 7 floors, built above the sea. There were many such prisons in the world. Prisoners on each floor lived separately and communicated using hand signals. Something big had recently happened, but the new guy couldn't understand what others were trying to say. He had no choice but to keep working continuously. Slowly, he learned the production process. The supervisor kept saying, "Don't waste time. We must get first place this time." Just 1 day was left for the evaluation when an incident happened. A prisoner, unable to bear the inhuman life of the prison, committed suicide. Who was he? Femos, the tall guy at table number 3, once said, "Oh, damn. Now the whole night the place will stink because of his body. Tomorrow we'll have one less worker." Just imagine how bad the electric shock will feel. No one cared about his death. All anyone worried about was that losing one man would slow down their work. If work slowed down, they wouldn't reach first place, and if they didn't come first, the punishment of electric shocks was guaranteed. A report came. Table number 3 had now fallen to 4th place. Everyone started working even faster, but the new guy, Nathan, wasn't someone who would sit quietly. From the very beginning, he had been planning to escape. Every time he asked permission to go to the toilet, he worked on some part of his plan. He had brought a saw to cut the water pipe in the toilet, but as soon as he moved the saw twice, suddenly the prison's broadcast system started blaring, which meant a new prisoner had arrived. He quickly restored the place to how it was before and returned to his workshop. During this time, he noticed that when the new prisoners were being brought in, the guards were not wearing any electric insulated boots. Yet when they shocked the prisoners with electricity, the guards themselves didn't get shocked. Suddenly he realized, this electric lift platform isn't even connected to the main power line at all. And right then, an escape plan formed in his mind. If we could take down the guards on this platform and seize their weapons, maybe we could open an escape route. But he knew the time wasn't right yet. He would need to involve everyone else in the plan. With the arrival of new prisoners, their work speed increased even more, and because everyone worked together, their team finally won first place, due to which they were not given electric punishment that day. But that same day, a prisoner told someone near the river that something big had happened on the 2nd floor. Before the men could ask more, the room suddenly became extremely hot, as if oxygen was running out and it was hard to breathe. All the lights in the room suddenly went out. A few seconds later, the lights came back. Supervisor Hank rushed in and silenced everyone. He feared that if the guards found out anything, he would also get in trouble. Soon the broadcast ordered everyone to return to the dormitory. Back there, Nathan asked Hank, "Have you never thought about escaping?" But Hank stayed quiet. He said, "I have only 217 days until my release. I don't want to take any risks now." But the men kept asking, which made Hank nervous. He feared the guards might be listening to them. Nathan said, "The guards don't even need to listen to us, because in their eyes, we can never escape." Nathan ignored him, which made the men angry. He knew that to escape, he somehow had to get Hank on his side. Meanwhile, news spread. All 500 prisoners on the 2nd floor had been killed by electric shock during the incident. Everyone was stunned. To hide such a huge accident, the guards had removed all the computer lines of the prison, which caused those few seconds of power outage. This incident created doubt in Hank's mind for the first time, but he tried to calm everyone. "Maybe it's just a rumor," he said. "Until we know the truth, focus on work." During work, an old prisoner collapsed from extreme exhaustion. Hank immediately called the doctor, who was also a prisoner. They both knew each other. Hank said, "Save him. He only has 40 days left until his release." But the doctor replied coldly, "There's nothing to save. Besides, no one here is ever going out alive." He took out a vial of injection, with which he was about to give the old man a peaceful death. He said, "I can't help anyone. Give me a bag and a glove. Whoever dies peacefully here is the luckiest, because for the rest of us, this is a relief." Hank was shocked. He asked, "What exactly happened on the second floor?" The doctor distracted the guard with some task and then whispered, "I made a mistake. The man who was released yesterday was sent back to the second floor the next day. When the others found out, they protested, and all of them were killed." Hearing this, both their faces turned pale. They realized that release actually meant transfer from one floor to another. No one ever leaves this prison alive. Before they could ask more, the guards returned. Both lowered their heads and went back to the workshop. Now the men knew, the doctor's words had planted fear and doubt in Hank's heart. He felt this was the right time to get Hank on his side. Hank might appear tough on the outside, but now the fire of rebellion had slowly begun to burn inside him. Nathan asked if anyone had a plan. One man was at work, another was hiding below. "Tomorrow, they will be cancelled. It probably wouldn't happen again, and by then, it would be too late. I'd rather die trying than leave them behind, only for them to be satisfied with whatever the jailers want." Finally, Hank agreed with Nathan and told everyone the truth about the prison. No one can ever get out of here. The only way out is to escape on their own. Everyone was already fed up with the life here, so without hesitation, they all decided to join the escape squad. While the work was going on, Nathan secretly took a metal rod from his partner's hand and went to the washroom. He opened the pipes and let the water drain out so the internal water system would empty. At the same time, on the other side, the jailers were preparing to bring in new prisoners, but Nathan was still inside and hadn't returned. His teammates could only silently pray for him. Finally, before anyone noticed, he managed to return to his post, and at the right moment, the water also began to flow out. When the time felt right, he signaled his teammates with his eyes that the plan could begin. Then the two partners deliberately started a loud argument, and soon it turned into a violent fight. When the jailer's attention was fully captured, Nathan used the chance and stopped the rising platform. Then everyone rushed upward one by one, to grab the weapons of the guards standing above. The new prisoner turned out to be smart. He immediately understood what they were doing. He picked up an electric stun device from the ground and shocked a guard unconscious, but another guard from above shot him dead. As soon as orders were given, the rest of the guards threw all their weapons upward. But the prisoners couldn't escape from the armed guards. They began falling one after another. Still, no one backed down. They became even more fearless. Meanwhile, the jailers realized the situation was out of control and called their teammates inside. They ordered the activation of the floor electric shock mode. Hearing this, everyone climbed onto the work tables. Those who were slow were electrocuted, but because of the flowing water, the system short-circuited and soon the lines were damaged. The electric shock mode stopped working. Now the jailers could no longer threaten the prisoners. Hank immediately ordered everyone to attack. As soon as the order was given, everyone surged upward. Meanwhile, water had started leaking into the lower workshop. They didn't know what was really happening upstairs. The prisoners armed with weapons charged like gods. The jailers couldn't stand against them. One man had already outrun death, while another was terrified of it. Suddenly, an announcement came from the control room. "Attention everyone, in 40 seconds, the deadly electric shock mode will be activated throughout the prison. All prisoners must immediately return to their cells." But luckily, Hank and Nathan reached just in time. Then some English-like dialogue followed. "I'm too late. No one should have been here. You shouldn't be here. Turn it off." At that moment, Hank killed one of the jailers. Nathan said, "Turn off every floor's electric mode. Do it now." The jailer shut down all modes and opened the doors. After shutting down all the electric shocks on every floor, they turned on the backup normal lights. Nathan pushed the two jailers aside and told Hank to give a speech. The sound from there could reach the entire prison. Hank said, "I'm Hank, supervisor of chamber number 5, speaking from the command center. We have taken full control of the prison. How long will we keep dying here? The time has come to do something for ourselves. We have shut down all electric shocks. All floors are now safe." To test it, one prisoner stepped out of his bed, and it turned out to be true. Then Hank said, "Come out of your cells and move upward. There aren't many guards here. We will never get a better chance than this. Move forward and give them what they deserve. We know how they killed 100 people on the second floor. They never release anyone. They only shift floors. Move ahead for your rights. This building is ours now. Run and end all of this today." Hearing this, all the prisoners started helping each other climb upward. They all began moving in one direction, chanting, "One step more." Seeing so many prisoners united, all the jailers hid themselves inside a room. Soon, all the prisoners reached the outside, but the prison was built in the middle of a vast ocean. Still, the prisoners knew that jumping into the sea was their only way to live. If they stayed in the prison, they would never return home alive. One by one, many prisoners jumped into the water, but Hank didn't jump. When Nathan asked why, Hank said, "I can't swim." Before Nathan could say anything, someone pushed Hank and he fell into the water. All the prisoners were now in the sea, and this is where session 1 ends. If you liked the movie, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.